Good morning. Don't want to talk too loud in case anyone had too much to drink last night. That does not include me. I'm fine. All right. If anyone would like to move up, I don't think we're going to have a full session this morning. And, well, I'm lonely up here, so feel free to move on up. Well, welcome to this session on Salesforce knowledge. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Amy Harbin. I am a Salesforce Certified Advanced Administrator. That's a mouthful at 7:30 in the morning. I work in the UK office for Salesforce, and I've been working with Salesforce for over 2 years now. I'd like to introduce Christina Major, who is going to be assisting me with this morning's session. All right, this is our safe harbor statement. You're probably already familiar with it by this point. We may be discussing forward-looking statements during this session. Please base all buying decisions based on what's currently in the product and the current edition you have, not on what could be coming. To see the full version of our safe harbor statement, you can see that on our website. So we have provided training orgs for all of you this morning, so we can get you all logged in first thing, so we can use these during our hands-on exercise. The username is admin at DF09, knowledge 1, followed by a 3-digit number, and you will find that 3-digit number on your computer station. So let me run through that one more time. The username is admin at knowledge 1, the number 1, followed by the 3-digit number on your computer. The password is password 1, password all lowercase, and the number 1. If you're having any issues logging in, just raise one of your, not one of your hands, raise your hand. One of my colleagues will come, or raise both hands if you're really, really struggling, and one of my friends will come and help you. And that actually goes for the whole hour here. If you're having any problems, just raise your hands. One of them will come over and assist you. So I'll let everyone get logged in. Again, the password is password 1, password all lowercase, followed by the number 1. Do you want me to get you a different login? Let's try that again. So we're going to blame that one on Christina. So the username again is admin at DF09, knowledge 1, followed by the 3-digit number, .com. Apologies if that was my fault, but I don't think it was. I think it was Christina's. You might want to help Christina, Brendan. We need to get to the slides. I need slides. Yes, that's a brilliant idea. So as we're waiting for Christina to get logged in, I'd like to introduce Allison. She's one of our training account executives. At the end of this session, if you'd like to get more information about knowledge and how you can train yourself up on the new knowledge product, she will be the woman for you.
See me in the back.
Thank you. All right, so what are we going to cover in this session? Well, we're going to start off with an overview of knowledge. It's new, so you probably like to know about it. We're going to then talk about article types and data categories, and these are going to help you build and organize your knowledge base. And then we're going to follow up with 3 hands-on exercises, so lots of good hands-on stuff for you here. The first one, we're going to look at what an administrator has to do to set up the knowledge application. We're going to then look at what the knowledge manager needs to do to create, assign, review, and publish articles to the knowledge base. The third one, we're going to get a chance to get into the seat of the users and how they're going to interact with the knowledge base, how they're going to search for articles in order to resolve their customer queries. You'll probably have some questions at the end. I am going to ask that you save all of your questions till the end, and I'd be happy to answer them at that point. We do have a lot to cover today, so we are going to go the full amount of time. I'm going to go at a fairly quick pace because we want to tell you all the cool things about knowledge. All right. Now, I do want to tell you one thing. We're dealing with a fictitious company in our scenario for this class, and it's called Universal Travel. And Universal Travel has been using Salesforce for quite some time. However, they want to implement the new knowledge application in order to help their agents get to their answers much quicker. They also want to roll out their knowledge base to their public websites so that their customers can come in and serve themselves, reducing the costs of their call centers. So that's what we're going to do. So a lot of my examples are having to do with travel. Of course, Salesforce knowledge will be unique to your business. All right, are we ready to get started? All right, sit back and relax for just a couple minutes while I cover some overview bits. So what is Salesforce Knowledge? Well, it's a new, powerful knowledge application that was released earlier this month, and it's part of our Service Cloud offering. Okay? And the idea here is to get the right answers to the right people the first time, every time. And when I talk about the people, I mean the agents in the call center, or it could even be your customers through an authenticated portal. We could even take it one step further. Instead of having customers log in to get to the knowledge base, we could actually make it available to everyone visiting your corporate website. Now, I think it's a little too early in the morning for this graphic, but that is a haystack. And sometimes finding knowledge in traditional knowledge bases is finding a needle in that big mess. So what Salesforce Knowledge provides is, in addition to keyword searches, which is how we're all sort of used to interacting with knowledge bases, is we use something called data categories. And data categories are going to filter our results, and they're always unique to your business. You create your own data categories. And when we're doing searching for articles, that will filter our results down to exactly what we need, giving you targeted searches, getting the right answer quickly, efficiently. Okay? All right. So I did mention this. A lot of times traditional knowledge bases are just clogged and cluttered with irrelevant data that no one ever reads anyway. And that's if they could find their answers. So Salesforce provides lots of different features to make your searches quick and efficient. One of the really nice features is that people can rate knowledge articles. So with a 5-star rating, so when you're doing a search, you can say, well, I've got 2 possible articles here. People rated this one as 5 stars and this one as 1 star. I'm going to go to the 5-star one first, but that's just me. I care what other people think about the things that I do. So that's going to make our searching much more efficient. All right, let's talk about article types. So let's first of all talk about articles. Articles are going to be making up your knowledge base. Okay? That's what people are going to be searching for to get their answers. And they're typically short HTML documents. And they can contain all sorts of great stuff. So they can just contain text. They can contain links, images, graphics, even video, all sorts of rich media text. Now, administrators can create something called an article type. And what that allows is to have a custom layout depending on the type of article we're presenting. So imagine our travel scenario. I could have different types of articles. I might have an article for travel advisories. It's probably short and sweet, just gets to the point. A couple fields, and we might have everything in big, bold letters, just so that we can get that information quickly. But envision, say, a destination guide. Now, that's going to be a much longer document, organized in a very different way. There might be graphics in there, and we're going to track very different information. Article types allow us to have a unique layout, including custom fields, depending on the type of article we're presenting to the user. They're extremely easy to create. System administrators can create them, or if you give your knowledge managers permission, they can do it as well. How many system administrators do we actually have in the room? Yeah? A fair number. Good. All right. Well, let's talk about data categories, and this is where the benefit of Salesforce Knowledge really kicks in. When you run a search, you can do keyword searches, but data categories are going to allow us really to hone in on the correct answer. So a data category gives some business context to your searches. And what this allows you to do is to create data categories based on your own unique business. Now, when a knowledge manager creates different articles, they're going to assign all relevant data categories. So on the screen here, we've got all of our different articles, and we've assigned the relevant data categories. Now, as a user, I'm going to start searching my knowledge base for an article that will help me resolve my issue. Now, in my Universal Travel scenario, let's say that Universal Travel serves both business travelers as well as personal travelers. But I only assist business travelers. That's part of my role at Universal Travel. So when I run a search of the knowledge base, I don't want to actually see anything that's not relevant to the type of customers that I'm serving. So my searches should be limited to just the articles that have the data category of business. I can then further refine my search and say I'm looking for a particular destination. And let's just say Italy for an example. When I run my search, I can specify I only want to see articles having to do with Italy, and that's going to narrow my search results down even further. I could even go further, and I want to narrow it down by, say, a specific topic, like conference centers, getting me right to the article that I want. And what I'm being presented with now is only the articles with the data categories that I've specified, keeping me from having to sift through irrelevant information. All right, thank you for that. Let's talk about user access. Now, we do need to enable Salesforce knowledge for our users to have access to it. We might also want to create a custom profile for our knowledge manager and anyone who's going to be involved in the publishing process. They're going to have access to a very specific tab called article management, and that's going to allow them to do lots of good things of building up and maintaining our knowledge base. All right. Well, we're going to move on to our first exercise. So for those of you who are not system administrators, this is going to be a system administrator function, most likely. What we're going to do is we're going to create a custom profile for our knowledge manager. Up until now, she's been a member of the profile held by all of the members of our documentation team, but she's going to start using knowledge, and she's going to need to manage articles. So we want to give her the permissions to do that, and we do that via the profile. After we do that, we're going to go into our knowledge manager's user record, confirm that she has access to knowledge, and we're going to assign her the new profile. Then we're going to log in as this new knowledge manager, and we're going to create a new article type, and we're also going to create a new category. Now, the new article type is we want to have a specific layout of our articles when we're talking about deals or specials that we're offering to our customers. Very unique custom layout just for that type of article. We've also had some feedback from the people in our support team or our customer service department who've said, you know what, I want the ability to search for articles just having to do with cruises. So we're going to create a data category that will allow us to do that, to filter our searches on a specific category, which is cruises. All right? Are you ready to get started? All right. Over into the application. We're going to create a new profile for our knowledge manager. The way to do that is to click Setup at the top of the screen. So click the Setup link. Down the left-hand side, you'll see three basic groupings of data. We want to go into Administration Setup. It should be towards the bottom. I'd like you to expand out the Manage Users menu. There's a plus sign next to Manage Users. Just expand that out to reveal a submenu. And underneath the Manage Users submenu, I'd like you to click on Profiles. Now, we have some existing profiles, and up until now, our knowledge manager has been part of the documentation profile. But what we want to do is we want to give her even further abilities, newer permissions that she can manage our knowledge application. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to click into the knowledge profile. So click on the name Knowledge Profile, and what we're going to do is we're going to use that as a basis for creating our new profile. So click on the documentation profile, and then you'll see a button called Clone. And we're going to make a copy of this. You need to give it a name. We're going to call it Knowledge Manager. Okay, so we've created a clone of the documentation profile. We've called it Knowledge Manager, and now we're going to save it. All right. Well, we're not done. Right now, documentation and knowledge manager profiles look exactly the same. We've cloned them. Well, we want to edit this profile to give this person or to give the users of this profile more permissions. So I'd like you to hit the Edit button. Now, the profile, for those of you who aren't system administrators, the profile contains lots and lots of groupings of information having to do with the things that users can do. I would like you to scroll to a section called Administrative Permissions. It's about the fourth section down, administrative permissions, and you'll see a series of checkboxes located in 2 columns. And we're going to check 4 different permissions here. The first one is going to be to manage knowledge. Okay, manage Salesforce knowledge. It's in the right-hand column. Okay. The next one we're going to do is manage data categories. This is going to allow us to create new data categories, edit data categories, and delete data categories that are no longer relevant. So make sure you're choosing manage data categories and not manage categories. I made that mistake a few weeks ago. That's not what you want. Manage data categories. Okay? All right. Now, the next 2 permissions I'm going to suggest are the types of things that system administrators can already do. However, if you would like your knowledge manager to have these abilities, that's fine. You'll put them in the custom profile. The first one is to customize the application. So view customize application. It's in the upper left corner. Yeah, customize application. And the second one is to manage users. Okay, so we've created 4 permissions in the administrative permissions section of the profile. Customize application, manage users, manage Salesforce knowledge, and manage data categories. When you've checked the boxes next to those 4, I'd like you to go to the top of the screen and hit save. And you've created your new profile. Now, profiles aren't terribly useful unless they've been assigned to users. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into one of our user records. We're going to confirm that they have access to the knowledge application, and we're going to give them this new profile. All right? So from the left-hand side, under that Manage Users, where we were earlier, I'd like you to click on Users. Now, our user already exists. She's been working at Universal Travel for quite some time, so she still has a user record. I would like you to find Carol Wen, and her last name is spelled Nguyen, Carol Wen. And we need to edit her user record, so click the Edit link just to the left of her name. That will open Carol's user record, and I would like you to change her profile over on the right-hand side to the new Knowledge Manager profile. Okay. One other thing I want you to do is I want you to confirm just below that the checkbox for Knowledge User is checked. If you don't check that box, this person won't have access to the knowledge application. Okay. All right, so we've changed her profile. We've confirmed that she has access as a knowledge user. Let's save it. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to log in as Carol. Now I don't want you to log out of the application. We're going to use a nice feature available to us system administrators. And in this user list, you'll notice next to Carol's name, there's a login link. We're going to use the feature called Grant Login Access. And what we're going to do is we're going to click the login link to log in as if we were Carol. Can you click that login link next to Carol's name? You'll notice at the top of the screen, you are Carol Wen. And what we're going to do is we're going to carry out some tasks that can be done either by a system administrator or a knowledge manager. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new article type. Let's go up to the Setup menu. Down the left-hand side of the screen, in the second section, under App Setup, which Christina has highlighted on the screen, I'd like you to expand the plus sign next to Customize. Okay? And if you scroll down that list, you will see Knowledge. And it even has a little new icon, just to remind you that this is a new application. If you can expand the plus sign next to Knowledge, and then click on Article Types. All right. Now, we already have some article types in here. So as a knowledge manager, I can start creating articles about advisories, or alerts, or destination guides, FAQs, and how-tos. But I'd like to add a new one. I want a unique layout, unique fields for deals and specials that we're offering our customers. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new article type. Okay? We have to give it a label. In the label, I'd like you to type in deal. D-E-A-L, deal. In the plural label, you can probably guess what I'm going to have you put in, deals. The object name will automatically populate, so you don't need to worry about that, but I would like you to put in a description. Deals and specials on offer to our customers, or something along those lines. So the label is deal, the plural label is deals. Object name will be automatically filled in, and we'll give it a description of deals and specials offered to our customers. Now we've got a choice down under deployment status. These are test orgs, so it's okay if we put it in deployment. Okay, so the deployed radio button is just fine. However, in the real world, if we're still building up our knowledge base, we probably wouldn't want to put something right into deployment. We might want to hold it back. Okay? But we're going to choose deployed here, and we're going to save. All right. Once you've created your new article type, you're going to see 3 sections here. Now, we're going to work with the last section, but I want to tell you what the middle section allows you to do. In the middle section, where it says fields, we've had some standard fields created. These are just standard fields. When you create an article type, these are the ones that you'll see. But notice that there's a new button in the fields section. You can create your own custom fields. And for all of you system administrators, I know creating fields, you can do it in your sleep. So we're not going to walk through that. The other thing I want to call your attention to in the fields section is the edit layout. So just like you can edit the page layouts of opportunities and cases and all those other objects, you can edit the layout of your article types. Okay? Now we're not going to do either of those, but I wanted to point that out. It's the third section that I want to talk about. If Christina will click the edit button, I want to talk about the display channels. Now you have some options. Of course, we have 3 channels that we can push our knowledge articles out to. We've got our internal staff, or our agents working in our call center. We've got our customers coming in through an authenticated portal. But we also have the public at large, anyone going to your corporate website who wants to look through a knowledge base. Don't have to be authenticated. It could just be anyone off the street searching your knowledge base. Well, what we can do is we can choose how we want to display our article types to those different types of users. Here are your choices. Number 1, in a tabbed layout. Just like you guys all know, everyone's familiar with a tab layout. Each section will be covered in a different tab. We also have access to a table of contents layout. Instead of tabs that run across the top of the page, they'll have a table of contents running down the left-hand pane, and depending on which section they've highlighted, they'll see the details in the right pane. You do have a third option beyond the scope of this 1-hour session, which is to use Visualforce pages to really create a custom experience. Those are our 3 choices. And what we're going to say is we want everyone to interact with this article type the same way in a tabbed layout. So we've chosen tab for the public knowledge base. Okay. Let's save it. All right, so we've created our first article type. As a knowledge manager or anyone working in the publishing process, if I want to go and create a new article, I can choose this as my layout. We'll look at that a little bit later. The other thing we want to do is we want to allow our users to filter their searches on articles having to do with cruises. They haven't been able to do that up until now, and they feel that it's hindering their searching process. So we want to create a new data category. The way we're going to do that is we're still in the setup menu, we're still in customize, but down the customize submenu, I want you to go all the way down to the bottom, and you will see, where are we going, Christina? It's under tags. So if you'll expand out tags, no, that's not where it is. It's not here at the moment. Do you guys see data categories? Yes. It's in the profile. That's okay. Just click log out. So that's okay. Hit log out and come out as Carol. You'll see it now. All the way down. There we go. So it's under tags, data categories. You will be prompted for a tutorial. You can just make it go away because I'm here to be your tutorial. All right, so here's our data categories. Let me explain what we're looking at here. We have the highest level of data categories called our data category groups down the left-hand side. And what we can do is we can create then subcategories underneath that. And we can have child, grandchild, great-grandchild categories set up that way. I'm going to get you to highlight in the data categories group, products. So if you highlight products, on the right-hand side, it'll show you all the data categories under the products heading. And you'll see we've got things for conferences, flights, hotels, vacations, so on and so forth. What we're going to do is we're going to create a new data category at that same level. So over on the right-hand side, if you hover over the all, over on the right-hand side, hover over all, you'll see a button, an actions button, pop up. Do you see that? Just the way Christina has it there. Hover over all. You'll see a new actions, and you can choose to add a child category there. Okay. Now we just have to give it a name. Let's call it cruises. And click the add link. So we've created a new category at the same level as all of the others. And we could continue to add additional ones here as well. It's quite easy to do. Type it in, click add. Type another one in, click add. And you'll notice if you hover over any of the other subcategories, you'll also see the action button. So you can create children and grandchildren. But all we wanted to do was add one, cruises. That's it. I'd like you to go up to the top and hit save, right in the results of products. So once you've saved your data category, you will be presented with this screen, just telling you this could take a while. It's not going to take a while. Just hit proceed with save. All right, well, let's recap. So we've created a new profile for our knowledge manager. We've added our knowledge manager to that profile, and we've confirmed that she has access to the knowledge application. We logged in as Carol, and we saw that we could create a new article type for deals, and we also created a new data category for cruises. Good stuff? Yeah? All right, well, let's carry on then. Let's talk about the publishing process before we go on to our next exercise. So to get articles into your knowledge base, they are going to go through a life cycle of publishing. The first thing we're going to do is your knowledge manager is going to create new articles. And they're going to use article types to define the layout of those articles. They are then going to assign all the data categories that could possibly apply, allowing users to filter their search on those data categories. Now, it might not be the knowledge manager who's putting everything together. Other people are going to collaborate on the content of our knowledge base. So what we can do is we can use the assign feature to assign articles to other people, people who will add graphics and video and links. We might even have writers who write up our destination guides, for example. So we can assign our articles to other people. We then have to decide who do we want to deliver this content to, and we still have our three choices. We've got our agents who work for us, we've got our customers who might come through an authenticated portal, or we could have the public at large if we wanted to put these articles on our knowledge base open to anyone visiting our website. We then will have some analytics to allow us to view the usage of our articles, and that's going to help us prioritize what we maintain. Our knowledge base can contain thousands and thousands of articles. It can handle that, no problem. But we need to focus our attention on, say, the knowledge articles that are being found the most useful. We're going to keep those ones up to date. It might also give us some clues into what we need to archive or delete out of our knowledge base, things that have become obsolete. The final step is, how do we do all of this as a knowledge manager? Well, we provide you a fantastic tab called Article Management. And Article Management will allow us to work within that workspace in order to review, publish, archive, and delete articles from our knowledge base. All right. Let's move on to our second hands-on exercise. And in our second hands-on exercise, we are going to work as a knowledge manager. Now, this is not necessarily system administrator area. It's fine if you are a system administrator, but it doesn't need to be done by a system administrator. What we're going to do is we're going to create a new article using an article type. We are also going to review an existing article that has been through the publishing process, and we're going to publish it to our knowledge base. So that's what we're going to do. Let's go back to the application, and I would like you to click on the Article Management tab. Now, who's going to have the Article Management tab? Well, anyone who you say can manage knowledge. Remember, from our profile, we specified that they can manage Salesforce knowledge. That's going to define who has the manage articles. People who are going to be part of the contributing and collaborating on content. Okay, so we're going to go to the Article Management tab. Now you guys are going to see a list. I just want to explain the screen here. Down the left-hand side is how you're going to view articles in your knowledge base. And you will see My Draft Articles. So those are the ones that are assigned to you. You'll see All Draft Articles, everything that's in our publishing process. You can see Published Articles, ones that are currently in our knowledge base. And you can also see Archived Articles. All right. You also have, you see a Find and View field there. You have a keyword search available to you, so you can search for specific articles. But you also have some filters down the left-hand side, and you will notice that these are our data categories. So I can filter for knowledge articles based on those data categories. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go right to the top, and we're going to create a new article. So let's create our new article, and the first thing you're going to be prompted is for article type. And what we're going to create is a destination guide. Okay? And we're going to call it Bora Bora Cruises. An article about taking a cruise around Bora Bora. So destination guide, the title is Bora Bora Cruises, and we're going to save it. Okay. All right. Now that'll bring up our article so that we can start adding the content to it. You'll notice the title is already filled in, the URL name is already filled in, and then we've got an abstract where we can put in more details about this. And we're going to put in an overview of Bora Bora Cruises as well as the surrounding islands. Anyone been to Bora Bora before? Yeah, that's sort of my dream destination. I haven't been there either. All right. Now, if you scroll down the screen in the main area, you'll see lots of different areas for information. Now, as a knowledge manager, I might not be the person to fill these bits in. Okay? What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to make sure that the appropriate data categories are selected, and then I'm going to push this article out to someone else to start filling in the details. So, we've given it a title, we've filled in the abstract. Over on the left-hand side, under Article Properties, this is where I want you to be, and you'll see a series of edit buttons next to our data categories. I'd like you to click the Edit button next to Products. Okay. A second window is going to come up, and it's going to allow you to assign all the appropriate data categories. In this case, I would like you to highlight Cruises. So the newly created data category, highlight Cruises, and click the Add button. And what we've done is we've said, for this article, give it a data category of cruises, allowing users to filter their searches on articles that only have cruises on them. And click OK. So we've assigned one data category, but of course we want to apply all data categories that could possibly apply. So back into the Article Properties section, I would like you to click the Edit button next to Customers. Okay? And you can see that there's 2 data categories in that list. Now imagine there were 47,000 data categories. Okay, that might be actually a bit of an exaggeration, but imagine there's a lot, and you wanted to apply all the data categories in this group. If you click on the All at the very top, it will highlight everything below it, and you can click the Add button. So we've added all the data categories under Customers, and choose OK. Okay. So let's look at what we've done here. So under the article properties, you'll see that we've assigned several data categories. We've assigned cruises under the products group, and we've assigned all the data categories under the customers group. So far, so good? Can we get some help right up here, please? Now, underneath that, you'll see channels. These are the channels that we want, that is relevant to make this article available to. Right now, there's a check next to our internal app. If we want to make our destination guides available to our customers, we can check Customer Portal. So let's do that. We can also check that we want to make it available to our knowledge base, so not necessarily our customers, but anyone visiting our website using the knowledge base. So you can always check the channels that apply. Once you've done that, let's go right back up to the top of the screen, and let's save it. All right. Perfect. So you should see your article now in the main window. Does everyone see their article? Good. What we're going to do is we're going to assign this article to another person. So we're not the graphics design person. We want to push this article over to someone who can start putting in the pretty pictures. All right? In this main window, I would like you to check the checkbox next to your article, Bora Bora Cruises. And then I would like you to click the Assign button. Salesforce Knowledge allows us to assign articles to other people to work on. So click the Assign button. Okay? And we have to specify who we want to assign it to. In this case, we're going to choose Mary Jones. She's part of our graphics team. And we can put in some instructions. Mary, we would like you to add the graphics to this article. So assign it to Mary Jones. Tell her what you'd like her to do to add graphics. And then we can specify a due date. We want her to have this done by next Friday. So we're going to choose the due date of the 27th of November. That's when we want her to have this completed by, which I do know is the day after Thanksgiving. Let's choose OK. We're really mean managers. We make people work on Thanksgiving. Now you'll notice, once you've hit save, that it's no longer in my draft articles. And why is that? Well, because it's no longer assigned to me. If I logged in as Mary, I'd see a new article on Bora Bora Cruises in my draft articles, telling me when I need to have it completed by. Okay? All right. So far, so good? Good. All right, well, let's keep going here. So, of course, we could have articles moving through the publishing process, lots and lots of different articles. So what we're going to do is we're going to review an article that has been over to our writers and our graphics team. I would like you to go to All Draft Articles. So on the left-hand side, All Draft Articles. And what we're going to do is we're going to preview an article or a destination guide on Italy. So find the Italy destination guide and click the preview link. All right. So it'll open this up in a different browser window, and you can see the kind of rich text that you can have in your articles. And if you scroll down a bit, you'll see that we've got beautiful graphics. We've got hyperlinks in our summary area. And you'll also notice at the top that we have different tabs of information. When this article type was created, we specified the layout, the new sections, and also the new fields, allowing us to organize our information in a unique way having to do with destination guides. Now, after I've reviewed this, if I'm happy to publish it, I'd like you to close that browser window, returning you back to article management, and we're going to publish it. Okay? So what we did previously is we clicked the preview button to review it. Now that we're back in article management, we're going to check the checkbox next to Italy, and we're going to hit publish. Okay? Now we've got a couple options here. We could publish it now, or we could actually publish it at a later date. We're going to choose to publish it on a schedule. So we're going to choose the second radio button. And then we've got our calendar picker where we can choose our name. Our date. We're going to choose the 27th of November. And we can also choose to flag it as new. So when this article gets pushed out, it'll have an icon specifying that it's new. So you can check that box there. So we're going to publish it on the 27th. We're going to mark it as new because we've never put this article out there before. And we're going to say OK. Back in our view, you'll notice that Italy is still showing up under draft articles because it is going to remain a draft article until the 27th of November. Now let's say that Carol, our knowledge manager, is going to be on holiday. She's actually going to be on Thanksgiving, eating turkey, all that good stuff. Notice that there's a little clock icon just to the left of Italy telling me when it's going to be published. Well, Carol's not going to be in the office, so does she have to do anything? Absolutely not. On the 27th, this will be published without her doing any further work. Good stuff? Yeah? Okay, well, let's carry on then. Let's have a quick recap here. So we created a new article using an article type as our template. We assigned all the appropriate data categories, and we got a chance to use our new data category. And then we reviewed an article on Italy, and because we were happy with it, happy to put it out on our knowledge base, we published it. All right. So let's talk about search combinations. So before our next exercise, where we're going to run a search on our knowledge base, as an agent may do, let's talk about search combinations. In the past, with old knowledge bases, you were usually limited to keyword searches. And those can be somewhat limiting. They can also return either too many results, meaning I have to sift through a bunch of articles that I don't care about to find the answer, or worse, they don't reveal any results at all. So we do allow keyword searching with Salesforce Knowledge, but we enhance it with the ability to filter your searches using data categories. We can even filter on article types. So if I'm looking to find out how to cancel my reservations, remember this is a travel scenario, I'm going to cancel my reservations, I might type in canceling or rebooking, okay, or even change. I want to change my reservations. And that could bring me back a series of articles. I can then use data categories and even article types to filter down the results. Now let me talk about one thing here that you can set up as an administrator. You can create synonyms. So in our scenario where I'm searching to cancel my reservations, you can predict how people might search. And this is something really unique to Salesforce Knowledge. I can set up synonyms. For example, if I want to say that people are going to search to cancel reservations, I can create synonyms for cancel and reservations. I can call it change. So anytime someone searches for change, they'd still find the same cancel reservations articles. I'll give you another example. I live in the UK. And if I did a search on travel to the UK, what if it's not called that in my knowledge base? What if it's called Great Britain or even England? I can create synonyms for the UK of England, Europe, Great Britain, Britain, so that anyone searching my knowledge base, however they might search it, would still find the appropriate articles. Does that make sense to everyone? Good. That's fantastic. Well, let's move on to the next hands-on exercise. And in this one, what we're going to do is we're going to get into the seat of the agent. How are we going to actually use knowledge? So the previous exercises were getting it all set up. Now let's actually use it. Okay? All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to act as an agent in our Universal Travel Call Center. We've logged a case for a customer who's interested in finding out how they're going to receive their tickets for their flight that they've booked through us. So the case has been logged, and what we're going to use is knowledge to search for the answer. Okay? In addition to that, we're going to rate the article for usefulness so we can leverage the experience of the crowd. Back up a bit. We're going to then attach the article to the case, and then we're going to actually add a column to our view to make it easier to decide which article to choose from. So let's go into the application. Now, the average call center agent is probably not going to have the article management tab, but they are going to have the articles tab, and they're also going to have the cases tab. We're going to go to the cases tab. Okay. From the cases tab, we're going to go open the case that was created for our customer. Easiest way to do that is from your view pick list, choose all open cases and click go. At the very bottom of the all open cases view, you will see a case number 1013 about flight tickets. If you can click on 1013, you will open up that case. Okay, so we can see the case has been logged. It's a question around booking, and they want to know how they're going to receive their tickets. You will also notice a related list called articles. This is our knowledge base, embedded right in the middle of the case. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the button in the articles related list called Search Articles. And let's click Search Articles now. All right. Now, interesting, I haven't told it what to search, and yet it's brought me back possible answers. So what's actually happened here? Well, it's taken the details in the subject of the case, put it into a keyword search, and run the search for us, all by just clicking on a button. Now, it's brought back quite a few articles here. So what we can do now is we can further refine our search using the features on the left-hand side. Now, because this is a question about flight tickets, we're going to limit it to certain article types. So right at the top in the search window in the left-hand side, I want you to click the Show More link. I want to see all my article types. Do you see the Show More link? That's going to tell me all my article types. And I want you to uncheck everything but FAQ and How To. Because a destination guide isn't going to tell me how I'm going to get my tickets. So why should I even bother seeing results about a destination guide? So we've limited our search to FAQ and How To. But and that has limited our search even more once we click the Go button. So less articles now. We've actually halved it. We can further refine our searches using data categories, and that's what we're going to do in the lower side on the left-hand side. So what I'd like you to do is under Products, I'd like you to choose Flight. So from the Products pick list, choose Flight. Okay. And you will notice that it's automatically filtered our searches even more. Now, the very top article looks like it could be the one for us. How will my flight tickets be delivered? That sounds pretty good. But from that name, we probably want to click on the article and see if it suits our needs. So let's click on that first article. How will I receive my flight tickets? And those are our details, using a template called an article type. Okay. Now, if we're reading through this and think, yep, that's the one, that's going to resolve my case, great. We're going to do one more thing, though, before we leave this screen. Do you notice in the upper left-hand corner that we have the ability to rate our articles? And this is going to help our fellow agents, as well as our customers, to find the right articles. So the way this works is, if you click on the far left star, you'll give it a 1-star rating. If you click on the far right, you'll give it a 5-star rating, and everything in between. So let's give this a 5-star rating. This article solved our issue. Okay. Once you've given it a star rating, you can close this window. Just close the window. Okay. All right, so we rated our article after we reviewed it. Now what we want to do is we want to attach the article to the case, because our knowledge manager might want to run some analytics about the most popular articles that resolve the most cases. Okay? So what we're going to do is, in our view here, we've got the details of the case at the top and we've got the articles below it. We can attach, using the attach link, this article to this case. And I'd like you to do that now. Okay? So we've attached this article to this case, allowing our knowledge manager to run analytics on the details. And what we're going to do now is we're going to return to the case. The easiest way to return the case is to click the Back to Case link just below the purple heading. Okay? So return back to the case. You will now see in the articles related list that that article has been related to the case. As an agent, I could come back in here and see the article, but my customer, if we allow our customers to view their own cases, they could go in and view the article that resolved their case as well. So the next time this happens, instead of picking up the phone and calling us, they can actually resolve it themselves. Okay? All right. Now, I want to take you on a quick tour of the Articles tab. Okay? Because although you can search for articles via cases, you can also search for articles through the Articles tab. Okay? And the screen probably looks somewhat familiar now. Down the left-hand side, we've got the ability to filter our searches. So we can limit it to certain article types. We can also specify certain data categories. Over in the main window, you'll see a list of the articles meeting your search criteria. And you'll notice that you've got column headings. Okay? You can customize the column headings, allowing you to search and filter and sort your articles. And that's what I want to show you how to do now. Each user is allowed to do this. There is a Columns button in the upper right-hand corner. And we are going to add another column. And the one we're going to add is Agent Ratings. So from that Columns drop-down button, choose Agent Ratings. And now in the main window, we might need to space out our column headings, which Christine is about to do. So she's going to make the article type a little bit shorter so that we can see our agent ratings column heading. Okay? Clicking on any one of the column headings will actually sort by that column. So if we click on agent ratings, we can sort our articles. Good stuff? Now we're leveraging the experience of our agents when we're looking at articles. So if I have two possible articles that can meet my needs, and I see one article has been rated 5 and another has been rated 2, I'm going to first go into the one that's been higher rated. Okay? All right, well, let's recap. So as an agent working in our call center, we searched for an article via a case. We rated the article so that other people can benefit from our experience. We attached the article to the case, and then we also added a new column heading to our articles window so that we can see agent ratings when we're viewing our articles. Good. All right. So, would you like to learn more about knowledge? So I just gave you a very, very heavily loaded overview of knowledge. We do have a lot of knowledge, what am I trying to say here? We have a lot of knowledge training within our Premier Training catalog, okay? If you would like more information about Premier Training or any of our other instructor-led or virtual courses, Allison at the very back, she's raising her hand and waving at you now. She'll be able to help you. Or later, you can always go and visit the training and certification booth in the campground. You can't miss it. As you walk into the campground, go straight ahead, okay? All right. I have one thing to ask of you before you go. Would you mind completing a survey? It shouldn't take more than 1 minute. If you click on the Home tab, on your sidebar, there is a course survey link, about halfway down the sidebar. If you click the course survey link, it'll bring up the survey, and the first thing it's going to ask you is which session you attended. You know it's early, but do you remember the name of it? And this session is actually called Knockin' Knowledge Out of the Park, which apparently is a baseball reference. I'll give you a minute to fill that out, and then I'll open it up for questions. She was raising her hand.
Also, quick announcement, if anybody in the room is certified, we're giving away the shirts in the back that have the black crows.
Oh, okay. Perfect, thank you. All right, before I open it up for questions, I have just a couple announcements. How many of you are certified administrators or certified developers? Perfect. We've got some free stuff for our certified folks. Right at the back, we've got T-shirts from the Black Crows, Counting Crows. Black Crows, sorry, I get my crow bands mixed up. The Black Crows T-shirts, they're really nice T-shirts. So anyone who's certified, see Allison in the back and she'll give you a free T-shirt. All right, I'd like to open it up for questions. If you have a question, just raise your hand and Brendan will come over and give you the mic.
So now we have knowledge, we also have solutions.
Mm-hmm.
What's the reason to still use solutions today?
Yeah, good question. So we've been using solutions for a while. Now knowledge has come out. So why would we use still solutions? Well, here's the answer. You probably wouldn't. Solutions are a fantastic way to get started in the knowledge management realm. However, if you outgrow solutions, knowledge would be the next logical step. Yeah? Okay. Right up here, Brendan.
We're talking about solutions. Is there a migration path if we're already using solutions to go into knowledge?
Yeah, good question. So if you're already using solutions, is there a migration path in order to get set up on knowledge? At the moment, there isn't a specific migration path because solutions have usually one-page layout, and because articles can have multiple article types, although we could dump it out via an export and import it back in, it would probably take a bit more setup. So it's something that consultancy can always help you with. If you're interested in doing that, see the Success Team booth, and the consultancy team could certainly comment on that. All right.
Hi, you
Hello.
mentioned keywords, but there was no place to enter those. So is this actually a full text search or a keyword search when you're doing that?
It is a text search in the sense that when you are in a case and you initiate, you click the search articles, it'll take everything that is in the subject and put that into the search.
Just the subject, not the body.
Just in the subject,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. We've got a couple over on this side. We will come to you, I promise.
A feature that Solutions lacked was the ability to restrict viewability of solutions in certain categories by user or certain self-service portal users. Does Knowledge have that capability?
So let me just make sure I'm understanding the question. So can you present different articles to different types of users?
Right.
Yes,
And also
absolutely.
restrict certain articles from different users having.
Absolutely. So the role hierarchy is the way you can actually do that. So when you're talking about your internal agents, you can restrict or prevent users from seeing irrelevant data based on the role hierarchy. You can also do that for the public via those channels. So this article type shouldn't be visible to certain channels. Okay, good. Yeah, in the back.
One of the demonstrations I saw, they actually had something up in the case that actually narrowed it down for them. Like one of the fields was driving the category selection on the left-hand side, so when they hit search articles, like they chose like laptops for their products up in the case. Do you know how they did that, or was that some sort of custom?
I would imagine, I didn't see that demonstration, so I don't want to say definitely it's something that what I'm about to say, but I would imagine that it is probably a customization that they did possibly through Visual Force.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks. Any other questions? We've got one in the back.
On the ratings, I see you have agent and user. Can you change the name from agent if agent doesn't apply, or add a custom rating field? Because I went to custom and I didn't see that as an option.
Yeah, absolutely. So at the moment, as Knowledge has just come out, it is very limited in the type of customizations you can make. So right now, we do refer to it as agent. However, in coming releases, I would imagine that you will have a lot more flexibility. I don't want to say when, but I would imagine it's very easy to believe that you will have additional customizations. Perfect. Yes, absolutely. Login idea. Good. We've got one up here. Thank you for your question.
Does Knowledge come as part of the package, or is it an extra cost?
It is at an extra cost. So does Knowledge come with the application? No. Whereas Solutions does come with the application, Knowledge is an add-on. And if you're interested in that, your account manager would certainly be able to comment on that.
Do you guys have any back-end APIs that supports Knowledge? More in terms of, well, if we can query the objects using some type of back-end API, and also like doing searches or attaching it to
So the question is, can you access the API for Knowledge? At the moment, the answer is no, but in one of the next releases, and if I was a betting woman, I would say in the spring release, but you can't quote me on that one, I would imagine, yes, it would be. Yeah.
So if I wanted to share, I'll have the requirements that I need to either share documentation or a design spec with a certain customer, which content is good for that. So where does content end and knowledge base begin?
Yeah, absolutely.
And if I was a customer coming in, or even one of my agents looking through, and I want them to search for something specific in this area, I don't want them to have to go to different places to find the data. I want them to go to one place that they can do a search and find, and so it's efficient.
Yeah, absolutely. So where do we draw the line between knowledge and content? Because they do have some similarities, don't they? So any of you who have used content before, you know that you can filter your search and you have different workspaces. Fantastic for any organization who's looking to manage their content. Knowledge has been made specifically for the customer service cloud. So probably the biggest defining difference is those data categories and being able to filter your searches on those data categories. Different, though, than tagging that you have in content. Tags can be created by anyone, and they're sort of an organic thing that just seem to grow on their own. Data categories are specified by the knowledge manager, the system administrator. This is how you're going to filter your searches. So it's more of a pushing knowledge as opposed to pulling it down from content. Does that help? Yeah, okay, good.
If I might add to that, content is more of a collaboration tool. Also, content is going to deliver the entire user manual, so to speak, whereas knowledge is really designed to deliver one answer very specific. So knowledge is more about pushing and directing information, and content is more about a collaboration, a workspace, an exchange between people.
Cool, thank you for that. Any other questions? All right, well, the keynote is going to start in 30 minutes, so enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you very much for coming to this very early morning session. I do appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of the conference.